my. I still can't believe I didn't know these RV secrets after we've been RVing for nearly 8 years. Okay, maybe that is a wee bit of an exaggeration, because after all this time, I do know a teeny bit about some of these RV secrets, but for the majority of them, I have been blindly going along about my business, allowing somebody else to take care of these things for me, which after 8 years, I finally decided I need to learn how to do some of this stuff just in case. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I mind that somebody else has been doing these things for me. It's just that I clearly have been oblivious to some of the things that go on behind the scenes, and I often take for granted that those things are being done. Plus, I know that the person responsible for ensuring these things are done for me, I know that he has some really good secrets as to how he handles these things efficiently and in a way that probably a lot of other RVers out there aren't thinking about when they're doing that. Thus, I decided to make this video. Not only is it for my benefit, so I can learn these secrets, but it's also for your benefit in that, one, it'll be entertaining for you to see how we interact as we go about doing these things, and two, you may even learn something that you hadn't thought about before when dealing with things involving like the RV dump, or the best way to power your rig when you're living off-grid, boondocking in nature.
So this is the dump. Normally there's a rock here to keep it open. Let's see where the dump is on here. So I gotta move the camper ahead to here. So I'm gonna go put the blocks in front of the tire about that far away, so it'll tip the camper this way, so when we dump it, should get everything out.
This isn't something I normally film, but we've been talking about what if something would ever happen to Marty and I'd be stuck having to take care of some of this stuff myself, you know, like while we're traveling or whatever. So I'm actually going to film the whole process so that I have something to look back on as some sort of guide on how to do this.
I gotta get the poop pipe.
And your gloves on.
These are these for kids?
Little ladies' hands, I guess. Gotta shove them fat fingers of yours in there.
I can't feel either one of my hands. I'm trying to put on gloves is a visual thing. Good thing I ain't blind.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hopefully the pipe's long enough or I'll have to get out the other one.
Okay. It looks like it might be. So you shove it in there, and then do you have to like twist it or anything on that end?
No.
Ah, we're like just...
I gotta pull it ahead of here.
Now, how do you know when it's on right?
It locks on.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
And are you doing the sewage right now?
Yeah, first you do the sewage, and then you clean the sewage out with
The gray water?
gray water. The sewage holding tank or the black water tank is done first because that's where all the poop and pee is. So when you run that through the hose, then you close it off and then you turn on the gray water flushes all that out. So you always want to do that second, the gray water.
And that's what's going on right now.
So this first, the sewage, Then you close it when it's empty, and then you open the wastewater, and then that'll flush the hose out at least to make it less toxic.
And then wear your gloves, use wipes, etc. No, I don't have a weird toilet fetish. And no, I am not trying to waste more time and build it into this video. What I'm actually doing is filling the toilet up. I'm going to fill it up to the top, flush it down. I'm actually going to do this 2 to 3 times during the time that Marty is emptying out the tanks. There's a very good reason for it, which we'll get into here in a moment. At first, I got to complete my job. It's the one thing I do when we're dumping tanks. How's that? And then to help even more, they've got water here, which is non-potable normally, and they always have it marked so that you can rinse, right?
Yep.
That smells.
Well, that is a sewer. Smelling.
Yeah.
You want to turn that handle on?
Oh, the way the water's splashing, it's like gross.
Okay, turn it off.
I'm getting sprayed, man. Now that I have a general gist of what happens back here, I'm thinking I enjoyed it much better when I didn't know. No, don't chase me with that thing. He knows I have like this total paranoia about germs related to the sewage, man. You need to ditch them gloves and get your hands sanitized.
Yeah.
Now we're getting water, and I already know this from earlier. Marty had pointed out that a city water connection just allows you to bypass the tank, and so that's where you would hook up if you're just on water continuously. If you're filling up the tank, this is the spot where you put your hose in, and we've got a filter on ours going from the faucet here, filters, and goes on in there. So nothing to that. I think I can handle that. There's so many things that Marty does around the camp that I just take for granted, but I think learning how to do them myself is a good idea because you just never know. And, well, it's better to be informed than not. Well, that's right. No need for me to be in the dark any longer, nor you, sightseers, as we've got all the secrets from the master in how to effectively dump our RVs. By the way, this is where our tank is. It's underneath our couch, along with some or the majority of our solar setup. But this is where the water tank is, right here. So we're watching to see how full it gets, right? The reason I fill up the toilet twice and then flush it down with water while Marty is doing the black water tank is to help clear out if there's any unmentionables remaining in the pipe going out.
And that's the pipe just after the toilet before it gets to the tank, because it all drops there when it's empty and then it sits there. So if you don't flush water through to push it out, it can pile up there, and then you got to use a special hose, and then you got to do some poop punching and washing out. So all that does is helps prevent that buildup. And
now I learned something new because I didn't realize that there was another spot for it to accumulate to create a leaning tower of
poo.
And yes, we have been in that situation where we've had to do the special plunging What? A quick recap of the master secrets before we move on. Number 1, make sure you carry a 2x6 or some other means of tilting your RV, your camper, your trailer in the direction of the RV dump. That way, gravity can do its thing and all the liquid will run out. Number 2, wear gloves. You don't want to risk cross-contamination. Number 3, when you're in the process of dumping, fill up and flush your toilet 2 to 3 times, clearing out the pipe. That way you won't run the risk of having that leaning tower up. And last but not least, when you're dumping your tanks, flush out the black water tank first and follow up with the gray water. That way your RV hose won't have as many icky stuff inside. Then of course, there is the dilemma of how do you power your rig? Yes, you can plug it in to an external power source. You can use a generator. You can use solar. But after 8 years, I have finally learned the secret from the master himself. And that is, solar power is the way to go. And here's why. When we first started RVing, here, let me turn that off. As I was saying, when we first started RVing, I had to be worried about the amount of power I consumed and the types of electronics I used. For instance, this hairdryer would never have been able to run it on our system. However, thanks to Marty's ingenuity, along with a really fabulous product from Renogy, who incidentally is the sponsor of this video, I no longer have to worry about my power consumption or the things that I run in this camper. In fact, I can do just about everything that you can do in your home. Here, let me show you. For instance, I can use the microwave. For demonstration purposes, I'm heating up some water. Maybe I want a cup of coffee later. You get the gist. I can also run the vacuum cleaner. Use electric to heat up our water. See, you can hear it heating up the water. Basically, our entire RV functions like a normal household would, all using the power of the sun. There are certain times, though, that the batteries start to get low and you start worrying about, oh, do we have enough power? Do we need to conserve? Well, not anymore, because thanks to Renogy and the 400-watt solar blanket, we can use that as an add-on to our system, which allows us to amp up or top off those batteries, our house batteries, in a lot quicker fashion than we would with just the solar panels we have on our roof. Lightweight, portable, the Renogy solar panel blanket gives you 400 watts of clean power. What are your first impressions, Marty?
I like it. It's portable. It's actually nice and small. It's lightweight. You can store it in a corner, and for us, we'll utilize it as when we need more power in certain situations.
Is it dummy proof for people like me who have no idea what they're doing when it comes to solar?
Absolutely, as long as you don't let any of the panels get shaded by a tree or a corner of a building or anything. And the plugs are dummy proof. You can't mix them up.
Well, that's a plus. See, it's light enough that even I can lift it, handle it. Now, from what I understand, a lot of people purchase this Renogy solar blanket to be used in conjunction with something like a power pack or a power station, you know, like the Jackery, which is a very popular portable power station brand. You can also pair it with an EcoFlow, or I believe a Goal Zero is the other brand that's compatible with this Renogy 400-watt solar blanket. For those of you who are a bit more advanced and understand how to set up a solar system, you can also pair the portable the Renogy portable solar panel blanket, the 400-watt panel, with the Renogy Rover 30-amp MPPT charge controller, along with their Bluetooth BT-2 Bluetooth module, an inverter, and a battery. These items are all things that you would need to purchase separately. Again, you can purchase the BT-2 Bluetooth module directly from Renogy, and you can also get the solar charge controller from Renogy as well. Do you want to see how powerful this solar blanket is? Watch as Marty unfolds it, and we'll see how much the voltage jumps up. Right now it's currently at 10.4, and Marty's opening up the solar blanket, and here we go. We can see it's starting to move. We've got, wow, look at that. It's at 14.4, just like that. I get some of you are probably scratching your heads going, voltage? Well, how does that translate to wattage? Well, that's where the BT-2 Bluetooth module comes in. This little device pairs up with your phone and allows you through an app to see just exactly the amount of wattage or watts being produced by the Renogy portable solar blanket. Unfortunately, we now have clouds covering the sun, but even on a cloudy day, you're still going to be able to produce power. Look, it's showing 152 watts being produced here in a cloudy situation. Granted, the Renogy solar blanket is capable of producing much more than that, up to 400 watts of power. Yet, it is nice to know that on a day like today, when you're under less than ideal conditions, you can still produce power. You can still charge up that battery, that power pack, that power station. It's just going to take you a bit longer. As you can see, we're no stranger to Renogy products. This is the Renogy charge controller that we have as part of our main system. We also use a Renogy inverter as part of our main system, and that Bluetooth device, that BT-2 device that I showed you as part of our little setup, that's ours as well. In the past, we've had Renogy solar panels. You just don't have them anymore because when we sold the fifth wheel, well, those panels went along with that. I have to say, overall, we've been really happy with Renogy products. Well, obviously, if we've got the charge controller, that pure sine wave inverter, that BT-2 Bluetooth device, and now with the add-on to our system with that 400-watt solar blanket and the little smaller charge controller, we're going to be set with Renogy for life. Well, look at that, sightseers. In the time that I've been jaw-jacking in here, the sun's come back out. Why don't we go outside and find out from Marty what kind of output that 400-watt Renogy solar blanket is giving us. What's the verdict? I see the sun came out.
376 watts I maxed out, peaked at. And right now it's not even full sun and it's 329 watts.
Well, Marty, what do you think? Do we got a winner?
Considering the Canadian smoke, over 330 watts, that thing works great. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I know, sightseers. We snuck that little product recommendation in there for you. However, I want you to ponder this. Do you really think, knowing how Marty is, that we would have all these Renogy products here in our rig if he didn't truly believe that the brand is a quality brand and that it provides value in producing solar power for our rig? Solar power that, I may add, we use on a daily basis to do everything here in our camper that you can do in your own home. One last thing I want to say about the solar, and then we'll move on, and that is the reason that I said it's an RV secret is because when you're out boondocking or you're camping in a campground, your neighbors, the other RVers out there, the other nomads, the other campers, the other people that are in the vicinity, do not want to sit and listen to you run a generator all day long, nor all night long either. They're out there, we're out here trying to enjoy nature. And if you got a generator running so that you can power your 55-foot long fifth wheel. Nobody else wants to listen to it. They're just too polite to let you know that. That's why it's a secret. I don't even know how you can stand to listen to it. Why haven't you gotten on the bandwagon and gone to solar? That's because you're missing out on the fact that solar can do everything that plugging into a generator can. It just takes a little bit more knowledge in order to get the right setup. Now that we've covered that topic, solar, ad nauseum, let's move on to our final topic. And that is the secret to being able to hitch up in one try. Obviously, this only applies if you're pulling something like a camper, a trailer, a car. And unlike what some people think, where you just hop in and back up willy-nilly, believe me, I've seen people attempt to do these things. There's skill involved, and there's a secret to being able to do it in just one swoop. And today we have the benefit of our expert who has truly mastered this, where he's going to share with me and all of you that secret being able to back up and hitch up successfully in one swoop. Another thing I need to learn is how to hook up the truck to the camper, just in case something would ever happen that I'd have to do that.
Yeah, like I'd have another heart attack.
Let's hope not. So the first step is getting the truck into position.
Line with the camper. That's why I have this for you.
To back up towards it, correct?
Push the button on the top. It only stays on for 2 minutes, so you might have to restart it.
Okay. Oh, you can see right the hitch.
Yep. And you back it right up to the camper. When you're backing up, kind of look in the mirrors. Why do I say that? Because if you look in the mirrors and you look down the very edges of the truck, you want to keep about this much of the camper visible on each side of the truck. That also helps keep you centered.
Okay.
If you look in here, I'm like straight in line. He's doing that.
Oh.
I should be almost straight in line. And you get close. It's good enough. And you get out.
Easy peasy, right?
Yeah, the hitch is like to the center of my knee, so we need to raise the bottom of this up to at least this height.
Okay.
So it needs to go up 2 inches. But before you actually raise this here, you go to the back and you check. I know I don't have them down.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you don't have the back jacks down, that you're not working against them.
Oh, okay.
And then once you raise that up, you raise the front jacks up.
Okay.
What do you use this for? Counterclockwise is up.
Okay.
These I just toss in the back of the truck.
So now I get back in the truck and back up.
Yep. Like I said, either push the button or unplug it or plug it back in.
Oh. Are you alright?
I took a Berlinta this morning.
Oh.
Just to be safe. Well, it's not that bright out, but you can see the tip of the...
Yeah, the tip of
And
the
the ball
ball.
needs to go that way. So the way that it needs to go, you turn the front of the top of the steering wheel that way and watch.
Oh, look.
Now we lower it down.
That's precise.
And then we take the master key and unlock this.
Oh, nice nose. And move the poop bag.
As it starts going down, click that thing on there.
Why do you gotta click that thing on there?
Because that's the lock.
Oh.
Once it's all the way down, hit it down. And then lower it all the way down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to where that, you'll feel it gets really loose. Pull that out.
I have a question. At what point, how did you know that it was time to lock the lock?
Because it's all the way down, you can start seeing the truck sinking, all the weight's going on the truck.
Oh, okay.
Power cord here, notch goes up, open this up, put it all the way in, and then lock it down so it can't get pulled out.
Okay.
Safety chains. One here. One here.
Okay.
Now if you want to run torsion bars, I'll show you how to put them on in a minute. But this shoe goes down. This goes in here like this. Put the bottom in first, rock the top in, and spin it around, and drop it right there. And this goes down, and a lot of times it's like this. You gotta move that back to get this on top of it. And you put it on either the third or the fourth one down.
What difference does it make? Does it?
How much more pressure it puts on it.
How do you know how much pressure you want on it?
You don't, you just...
It's just either one, it doesn't matter so much?
Well, if the camper's moving up and down too much, go one tighter.
Oh, okay.
Does it really matter with this truck? No, but it does help it from flexing in the middle.
Okay.
And then this clip gets in, it's got to get wiggled in. Sometimes you got to do this with it. You want to get it to go through. That way it won't fall out. Side two. When things shoe down, put it in. Sometimes you got to go way over here to get it in. Drop it there. Drop that down. And like I said, put it in. You always do the same on both sides. If you're the third one down, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And you do that same on both sides.
Well, yeah, you got to have
Hook it in that little cleat underneath. Normally, if you're on the fourth one, you got to use this bar to snap it in. You can hear the pressure.
Yeah.
And that's on the third one.
That sounds like something you don't want to get your finger caught in.
Nope. That's all you got to do. It's ready to go. As long as there's no ramp stuff or nothing down, nothing sticking up, no windows open.
Uh-oh, I gotta go close that.
Stairs. And tires. Take this metal bar, and then to see if the tires are full of air yet, they should bounce off just like off a beach ball. If you hit it and it just dead hits, that means your tires are low. You don't want to drive with one tire low. It'll either tear it all off or start a fire or do a bunch of damage. See how it bounces off?
Yep.
Full of air. This one might be a hair low. Doesn't seem to bounce as much, but it's all right.
And here we have our resident expert, the master, who's shared his secrets and tips today. Wow, I can't believe it took me nearly 8 years to learn all your RVing secrets.
Took me 8 years too. Sometimes Sally will tell you about the poop story with the blue boy where the end opened up and I was wearing about 4 gallons of poop on my shoes. Not a good day.
No, that was not a good day for sure. Did you have to learn these on your own or did somebody teach you?
On my own. I was old Sparky years ago. Trial and error cost me some money, but hey, I'm an expert now.
Is there anything you'd like to add as we wrap this episode up?
No.
Okay.
I think we're good. I think you covered it all.
There you go. Until next time.